Anomaly, a deviation from the common rule, type, arrangement, or form. There are many anomalies on Mars to be found. Some anomalies, such as statues or buildings, are tricky to find. However, if you look close through the NASA archives with an open mind, you will on occasion find something that can't be explained. Among those anomalies on Mars that can't be passed off as mere rocks are the anomalies of the amazing creatures on Mars. Here on Earth, we have all kinds of living fossils that we can view to help us get a better understanding on how creatures on Mars may live or may have lived. Creatures such as the horseshoe crab, which has been around for over 445 million years, or the common cockroach, which goes back to over 320 million years. Is it possible that reptiles and amphibians could live on Mars? Of all the creatures on Mars, it seems most likely that reptiles, amphibians, and insects do exist. Some reptiles on Mars could adapt to the extreme cold and heat that the planet Mars has. Temperatures often change dramatically, along with wind and possible rain. Here on Earth, many of our own reptiles have adapted to extreme temperatures. For example, there is a species of iguana called the desert iguana that can stay active in temperatures of up to 100 degrees. On Mars, where the average temperature is 80 degrees, this would certainly be an easy place for these reptiles to thrive. All the reptile would have to do is hide at night, and they would be safe. In this photo, we see what appears to be an iguana on Mars. This iguana, which is looking to the left, leaves a little to the imagination, as it is very detailed. This creature, which could possibly be camouflaged in the environment, is clearly out in the open for all to see. Other examples of reptiles on Mars include the frog, which looks to be catching some sun or searching for bugs on Mars, and also this unnamed lizard. This lizard appears to be crawling on the Martian sand. The reptiles on Mars can be found usually by looking through the rocks, at the edges of caves, or out in the open. This spider, which is clinging to the rocks on this cliff, is also trying its best to catch its next meal. This anomaly is amazing as it is super detailed. Some also say this anomaly looks like a crab. Mars has gone to the birds. I have seen a ton of Mars anomalies over the years, and nothing fascinates me more than the birds on Mars. Mars would be a great planet for birds due to its low gravity and thin atmosphere. The birds on Mars could take advantage of that fully to become possibly the ultimate predator on Mars. This photo appears to show a bird perched on a rock. This bird is very similar to one that is found on Earth. I bet this bird could fly super fast on Mars. Another example of a bird on Mars is this duck. Now I know what you're thinking, a duck on Mars? Well, it is possible. This is one example of an animal on Mars that I think could end up being just a statue or a fossil. Maybe this statue was created by an early settlement or other aliens on Mars. Fossils of dinosaurs have also been photographed on Mars, which certainly means that birds certainly could have evolved and adapted to a world on Mars. Are there birds on Mars? Quite possibly. You would have to keep an open mind, but it is possible. Bears and more? Say what? How about those bears on Mars? There are two examples where in Mars anomalies there have been found of all things bears. These bears, which some say look like the furry beast we have here on our planet, could have adapted in the Martian environment similar to bears which live in the deserts of Arizona or the cold regions in the north. These bears could have fur or something similar to it, possibly made of an organic material that we have not yet seen. Other creatures on Mars, which have included of all things fish fossils, could be the remains of fish on a long-lost sea or riverbed, rodents on Mars, such as the giant mouse, and this creature, which appears to be moving in the frame. This creature is by far one of the best anomalies, as it shows legs in motion. These creatures and more are what gets us excited about the Mars anomalies. The search is on. In the search for Mars anomalies, you have to examine and look hard into each photograph. Mars has creatures for us to find, imagine, and discover. Whether they are fossilized creatures, creatures that are alive, or simply statues of creatures left behind by the Martians. We have to keep looking.